Awesome. Thanks, Karthik. Cool. Well, thanks everybody. Hope the summit's been going so well so far. I'm pretty excited for this next part of the summit. It's a bit of a transition. You kind of started with kind of learning about the hackathon and what's happening this week or in the next couple of weeks. Then you kind of learned from Sarah and Matt and Adi about how FVM works, what's going on. You just had Nikki and crew kind of chat about what it's like to build on the FVM, and now we're kind of moving into what's after. So I think one of the coolest things about HackFS is you get access to the amazing Protocol Labs network that exists to kind of help take your project that you build over the next couple of weeks from here to really anywhere that you can dream of. So wanted to kind of have these next three talks chat about what other availability, what other options there are for you after the event, and just kind of give you an overview of that ecosystem. So without further ado, I'll have Ruben join us, and Ruben's going to kind of do an intro to the Protocol Labs network and what it looks like to be a builder in that network. So I'll leave it over to Ruben to take away.
Amazing. Thank you, Jacob. Always great being here. Always great meeting the amazing hackers at HackFS. So as Jacob said, I'm going to be talking about what's next, what's after HackFS, and how can you scale your idea with the Protocol Labs Founders Program. So we have been organizing these hackathons for quite a while now, and some with ETH Global and some with other partners. And over the years, we have learned a little bit about you. We have learned a little bit about you, the hackers that attend those programs. And one thing we have learned is that there are some in this audience today, some of you, that just want to play around with the technology. You want to test the boundaries of what's possible. This is maybe a weekend or a couple of weeks hack for you to create an interesting project and learn more about maybe a certain technology. And then you might want to step away. But we have also learned that there are some in this audience that are really keen on really shipping products. They're really keen on building something that lasts and that many thousands or even millions of users use and find useful in their daily lives. And what I'm presenting today is mainly delivered at that second group, the builders out there that want to bring real product to market. So what we understand about you is that you want to ship a product to millions of users. You want to disrupt a $300 billion data economy. So you're really tackling a massive market ripe for disruption. And you do imagine a world where data and liquidity move freely. That's why you're at HackFS. And in the upcoming weeks, the FVM team and many other of the great people in the Protocol Labs and ETH Global ecosystem will support you. But afterwards, what's next, right? And we have thought about this quite a lot at Protocol Labs, and we stood up a program specifically targeted at you that we call the Founders Program, or the Founders Program by Protocol Labs, where we want to support builders that push humanity forward. Now, structurally, how do we do that, right? There are three elements to this program. There is a big piece that is obviously the capital. So if you want to build something, you have to not just invest time, but you have to invest capital to, bring it to fruition. We have expert programming, and we are going to speak about this quite a bit. And then there's a really strong and really important community aspect to this as well. In the upcoming couple of minutes, and also in the talks that are going to come after me, we are going to go into all of this and how we execute this and how you apply, etc., in quite some detail. However, for now, I just want to take a step back and relate myself to you a little bit and kind of give you an idea of who I am and where we as a team are coming from. So first of all, I feel you, right? Like creating a startup is hard. I've been there myself. I've been creating startups since 2013. I was deal side at a VC, investing in Delivery Hero. Went through this deal, joined the global management team, and took that to IPO. Turo's also IPOing this year. I was part of the founding team of Proof, which was acquired by Turo for about $100 million. And then most recently, I was part of the founding team of Pumpkin, which surpassed 100 million of annual recurring revenue in 2021. However, this is what it looks like, right? But this is not what it actually feels like. As an entrepreneur, you go through some ups, but you have to cross really, really deep valleys. So if you look, these are pictures that actually my longtime partner provided me of her perspective of kind of like how she sees me as an entrepreneur, like big bags under my eyes, just napping on the couch, fast food while, I'm developing product, and so on and so forth, right? So I really emphasize with you, the founder's story is an extremely tough story, particularly now that we have, entered a pretty deep kind of crypto winter, and, the regulatory environment is shifting around us. So as a team, we thought really hard about how can we be best of help to you? How can we best support you? And the structure that we came up with in late 2020 is that of the builder's funnel. And the builder's funnel, hopefully by the end of all of the presentations that are going to be given to you today, is going to be intimately familiar to you. And you will have a really good idea of how to interact with it and how to apply for, the individual pieces within this program. So naturally, the funnel kind of flows from left to right. It features education for those of you, who are early and just discovering the stack. It features hackathons. I mean, we're all here to hack, right? So you probably know that for many, many years, we have been organizing these hacks. And this is kind of the top of the funnel where we meet you, right? Where you develop your early ideas. But some of you, as I explored earlier, might want to progress. You don't want to, kill the idea. You don't want to drop the idea post hackathon. But maybe you have, built a strong relationship with your teammates. Maybe you've won a prize. Or maybe you've just fallen in love with the idea and the friction that you're solving, and now you want to proceed. And there are a couple of ways that you can do that. One, kind of like the first step is grants. They are not just micro grants. Micro grants are in the range of like $3,000 to $5,000, but there are also dev grants. And these are targeted at, let's say you participate in this hackathon and you feel that there's something in our stack that's missing. There's a clear friction that you are addressing, and you and your team want to tackle this as kind of like an open source contribution to the overall PLN stack. Please feel free to reach out to us. We would love to aid you with a grant and help you, bridge that financial need, so you can focus on delivering against it. Next is accelerators. My team member James is going to take quite a bit of time following on this talk to speak about the why, the how, and the when of accelerators, and also to how you best apply to it. After James is speaking, Gabriel, actually one of our amazing partners, we have been partnering with Gabriel for many, many years, Graph Paper Capital and Tachyon, is going to speak, and you can kind of get a hands-on feel of what an accelerator feels like. And then there's obviously the big part, which is investment. As Protocol Labs, we have a number of investment funds. So let's say you graduate from an accelerator, or coming out of a grant, your idea is crystal clear. There are a number of boxes that you tick, and you now feel that you're ready to take your product to market. You have maybe initial product market fit. Then we stand ready, to invest into your seed round, pre-seed round even, or support your Series A. So this is the Builders Fund. Now, how are we doing? How is the Builders Fund, has the Builders Fund progressed since its inception in 2020? The funnel has created billions in dollars of value. As you can see, kind of progressing from left to right, we have been steadily growing the ecosystem. And if you look at these individual bars kind of vertically, you will see that many of the startups that have started, like you today in the audience, as hacks, maybe even weekend hacks, have progressed to Series A, Series B, Series C, even Series D and beyond, right? And what I'm, particularly, I guess, excited about is that a number of the bounties that are announced today for this particular hackathon come from startups that have gone through the entire Builders Funnel end to end and have once been just like you, hackers at a hackathon. A number of examples that jump out are like, the Monas, the Glitters, Huddle 01, and others. Now, while we understand that the builder's funnel is extremely critical, and we need to really meet you where you are in your entrepreneurial journey, and whatever step you take, we need to kind of have an answer and a support system to support you. We also understood over time that it's not enough, right? So there are other things that we have layered and augmented the builder's funnel with to kind of supercharge your entrepreneurial journey. And number one is funding, right? So we have a number of funds that cater to your particular situation. If you are more kind of ecosystem, network growth, SP focused, there's a different team that can support you and can assess your individual needs best. And we do follow-on investments, of course. So it's not just, a one-time deal with us. We want to, follow on in your entire entrepreneurial journey. And then there's also fundraising support. As a first-time founder, especially when you come from, a technical background, never been to a business class, the strategy and tactics on how to approach a fundraise to begin with is actually not very intuitive, right? And has to be taught, and we can help you with that. A second piece is community, right? When you are a founder, the most dangerous thing you can be is alone. And what you want is to have an amazing network, an amazing kind of augmentation of advisors and people that have similar challenges, or even are a little bit ahead in their journey around you. So you can consult them, you can share your frictions with them, you can consult them basically in your darkest hours, because they will come and you will benefit greatly from their input. And the access that we provide you to the amazing founders in our ecosystem. The main ways we do that is we have an invite-only Telegram group and a couple of other fora. We have a Founders Day a couple times a week, which is truly invite-only, and they create like an intimate space where you can ask questions that you wouldn't want to ask a VC or a senior executive, but they're easy to ask a peer. The third bucket is expertise, talent, and services. We have the amazing team over at PLN, Andrew Wu, Denise, etc., that have put together a large bucket of services. They call it Mosaic, and they call it PLN Services Marketing Council, that can help you supercharge your business. But there are also, there's also legal advice, recruiting help, right? We help you recruit at highly, highly reduced fees for your initial hires. And we have a superstar team that can help you, think about hiring thesis, etc., which is obviously a very, very key piece of how to scale a startup. In the fourth bucket, we have visibility in marketing. The Protocol Labs brand goes quite far. So we have been around in the space, and obviously over time, naturally, we have built legitimacy and trust in the space. And this can be very, very helpful for founders. We want to be a platform for you to celebrate your wins with you, right? So what we do with founders in the ecosystem and as part of the Founders Program is we listen and we track you and we have conversations with you. And as you, as an example, announce a new product launch or, announce a successful fundraise, we want to amplify it, right? On our marketing channels, on our Twitters. We might even release a press release and so on. And the last piece I want to stress, and for this one, I'm going to double click a little bit in one specific event that we host, is the networks that we curate, right? So there are two networks that we have specific attention to as part of the founders team. One is the network of top executives and founders that we want to bring in to help consult you, right? To assist you in your go-to-market, to maybe become advisors in your startups, etc. Right? One of the most dangerous things you can do is fly blind, right? You want to, especially in crypto, where a lot of things, where the level of uncertainty is already very high, right? You want to de-risk your go-to-market, your fundraise, the timing, how you roll out product, the sequence, how you engage with your roadmap. You want to de-risk this as much as possible. And the top executives in our networks can help you do this quite a bit because they have been there. And then secondly, we have an extensive investor network. We have thousands of investors that frequently interact and track our portfolio, and becoming part of that founders ecosystem can really help you get legitimacy for your fundraise, but also get started and get a foot in the door with some of the biggest names in the space. This connects very well with the next piece I want to talk about, which is FilVC. And FilVC is a very particular event. It's a investor-focused, invite-only event where we invite the best investors globally, sometimes for an in-person event like in Singapore last year, and sometimes for an online event to hear pitches from the best startups in Web3. And this is truly a huge lift. In Singapore alone, we had more than 3 trillion of assets under management in the audience. You can imagine what that means for your fundraise and how it can supercharge your raise and the capitalization and chances of success for your business. Here on the left, you see a couple of names of the people that attended A16 Crypto, Polychain, Y Combinator, Blue Yard, etc. They were all present and in the audience. A number of names that successfully raised from FilVC. We have the Tablelands, the Fleeks, and the Transcripts. All of them kicked off their rounds at FilVC. And generally, the feedback that we get from teams that participate and are selected, it's only about 20 to 25 teams every time. They love the experience and kind of the white glove approach we provide them and giving them the big stage. I think one way to think about FilVC as someone who has raised before is concentrating 2 to 3 months that you would normally have to spend in Silicon Valley, Singapore, maybe London, to a couple of minutes on a very big stage that really count. All right, so you've heard kind of the overview of the Founders Program from me, but this is obviously not just me. It's a huge team that's kind of lifting this. Please feel free to reach out to us, reach out to James, Nikki, Yaya, Julia, Dawn, and Carlin. And we'll be happy to route your requests and help you as best possible. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that intro to the funnel, Ruben, and what that's like from a builder's journey, I guess end to end almost, and then beyond. So really awesome. As Ruben mentioned, I think it makes sense just to jump right into the next talk.